Edirne, or Adrianople by its old name, the capital of the Ottoman Empire from 1369 to 1453, before Constantinople or Istanbul became its final seat of power and government. This border city, close to Bulgaria and Greece, is steeped in history. With its lively side streets, bustling city centre, and a host of historical buildings with some of the finest architecture in Turkey, Edirne is a must on your places to visit whilst in Turkey. Any trip to Edirne is a culture trip, and one which you will remember for the rest of your life. Selimiye Mosque. This Ottoman imperial mosque was commissioned by Sultan Selim II and was built by the imperial architect Mimar Sinan between 1568 and 1575. Sinan considered this to be his masterpiece, his greatest work, and it's highly regarded as one of the highest achievements of Islamic architecture. Mimar Sinan was the grand architect of the Ottoman era. His civil engineering projects saw more than 300 structures being completed, and although the Selimiye Mosque in Istanbul is his most famous work, his apprentices would go on to design the Sultan Mosque in Istanbul, the Stari Mosque in Mostar, and assist with the building of the Taj Mahal. His working life spanned 50 years, and he left his mark on Islamic architecture. The Selimiye Mosque, both inside and out, is as impressive as anything you will see in Istanbul. The interior of the mosque illustrates the wealth and power of the Ottoman Empire, but its plain, symmetrical interior would remind the sultans that they should always remain humble and faithful to Allah. The Islamic Art Museum is in a small courtyard with its exhibitions of Ottoman artifacts and themed rooms for calligraphy, weapons, glasswork, ceramics, costumes and jewellery. The displays include a circumcision room, and the authentic layout of the displays gives an impressive insight into the world of the Ottomans and Islam. Small and compact, under the shadow of the Selimiye Mosque, this little gem should not be missed. The Edirne Museum is just a short walk from the Islamic Art Museum. It features an archaeology section with artifacts from the Greek, Roman and Byzantine empires, and also it has an ethnography section with items from the Turkish era featuring the everyday life of bygone times. As you would expect of a city that was once the beating heart of the Ottoman Empire, it has its very own Grand Bazaar. Not on the scale of the one in Istanbul, but it's still worthy of a visit. There are also two others in the town. Feel free to haggle over the prices. The sellers here are not as pushy as those in Istanbul, and the bazaars are a pleasure to walk around. The Caravanserai Hotel in Edirne was designed by Sinan, and many of the old caravanserais in Turkey with their internal courtyards have been restored and are now operating as hotels like this one. The Selimiye Mosque, commissioned by Ottoman Sultan Murad II and completed around 1447. It is located in the centre of the city, not far from the Selimiye Mosque and the Old Mosque. It is unusual since the minarets have 3 balconies, hence the actual name of the mosque, the 3 Balconies Mosque. There are several very impressive bridges in Edirne. Shown here, the Meriç Bridge takes us out of the city over the Tunza River. The bridge dates back to 1842, but follows the 17th century design of the Tunza Bridge nearby. This is a good place to stop for a tea or a snack to eat while you take in the scenery. The Sultan Bayezid II, Külliyesi and Mosque are a group of buildings centred around the actual mosque itself. The word külliye is an Ottoman term for this kind of group of buildings. This is a beautiful building built in 1488. Moving on now to the Sultan Bayezid II Health Museum, Whilst the Europeans were still locking up the mentally challenged in Europe in austere conditions in madhouses, the Sultan Bayezid Hospital, which remained in operation from 1488 until 1878, was treating people with mental disorders to soothing and calming treatments with the use of music, water sounds and fragrances. This is the second most visited historical site in Edirne after the Selimiye Mosque. It really should be on your places to visit list. The complex includes a school, a mosque, and in 1993 it became a health museum which has dedicated itself to the history of medicine. It has received the European Council's Museum Award in both 2004 and 2016. Walking around the extensive grounds and the outbuildings, it really does instill a sense of calm and well-being in the visitor. It is easy to see how people who might have been stressed or suffering from mental issues could have been calmed and even cured in an environment such as this. There is a gift shop which sells a series of CDs of the music that would have been played here, along with souvenirs. There are still two churches in Edirne. One of these that is still being used today is the St. George Bulgarian Orthodox Church, which was built in 1880.